So good morning, everyone, and thank you all for being here for this joint webinar. We have organized it with the two Horizon Europe projects, TOLIFE, which is coordinated by Alessandro Tognetti, and PERSIMMON, which is coordinated by Classio Hort. I am Andrea Spotti. I work for BWAR and the Next Innovation Hub. We are in charge of the communication, dissemination, and exploitation activities of both the TOLIFE project and the PERSIMMON project. And today we are going to get into these two projects. I will briefly introduce the two speakers. I think most of you know him. Alessandro Tognetti is professor at the University of Pisa, and his research is focused on wearable and non-invasive sensors, bioelectrical signal modeling, and innovative technologies for healthcare. And he's now coordinating the TOLIFE project, which is going to present in a few minutes. And then we have Classio Hort, who is head of the Microsystem Technology program at the Uppsala University. He has a background in microfluids and advanced microfabrication, and he's now the coordinator of the PERSIMMON project. As you will see along the presentation, these two projects share a lot of similar features. So I will now leave the floor to Alessandro Tognetti for the TOLIFE presentation, and thank you again all for being here.
Okay, thank you, Andrea. I shared the screen. Okay, window. Do you see the presentation?
Yes, we do. Thank you.
Okay, so I start. So thank you, Andrea, and thank you, class, for this really interesting webinar. I think we will find many connection and interesting synergies between our two projects. So in my presentation, I will show which are the main goals and activities of the TOLIFE project. And I will also focus on what we are doing now, which is the core of our activity in this period, and which will be the future activity. TOLIFE is a very complex project with many partners, so it will be not so easy to describe it in a so short period of time, but I will try. So first of all, the overall objective of our TOLIFE project. TOLIFE project is a clinical project, and it aims to clinically validate a solution which is based to artificial intelligence and smart sensor that it is aimed to improve the management and the quality of life of patients that are affected by chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. So in brief, COPD patients. So what we are trying to do is to address this very complex condition, and to use couple, let's say, data measured in daily life from these patients to estimate their health status and to improve the treatment of this patient and then the quality of life of this kind of patients. So here is the concept of our project. As you can see from this slide, the concept of TOLIFE is really built around the patient. So we have our patient, which is in the center of our approach. We see the patient as a complex system, and the health status of the patient may evolve in time according to several factors. Here, some of these factors can be input factors, so modulating factor of the health status of the patient, which can be the history of treatment, the history of the pathology, the treatment, the quality of the environment, and also the lifestyle. And also the health status is reflected on some output, let's say, variable of the patient, which can be the symptoms, the physical performance, and also a bunch of psychophysiological signals that can be associated to the patient health status. So basically, our observation is that it is possible to estimate the health status of the patient, what we want to estimate, if we are able to monitor these input-output patterns of the patient in real-life condition, in daily life. So what we aim to do in TOLIFE is to monitor and store raw data associated to daily life of the patient, so the input-output patterns shown here in the slide, to process this raw data with analytic tools that in particular will perform a continuous estimation of the health status of the patient, and will also perform what we call exacerbation prediction. So basically, the assessment of the risk of exacerbation of a COPD patient. This aspect of risk assessment of exacerbation is really one of the core of TOLIFE, because exacerbation in this kind of patients are associated to outcomes which can be hospitalization but also death. So it is really important to treat exacerbation in advance. Okay, and this is one of our main objectives. So we have these analytic tools that will process the data of the patients, and then the output of these analytic tools will feed the TOLIFE software interfaces. We have foreseen in TOLIFE two kinds of software interfaces. One software interface, and probably the most important, is the patient management tool. So the patient management tool is basically an interface that sends to the clinician the information about the health status monitoring and the assessment of exacerbation risk to the clinician. So basically, according to the information given by the patient management tool, which include the information extracted by the analytic tools, the clinician will treat the patient in a personalized and optimized way. I want to underline here that our project is really a clinical project with a component of technology which is really relevant. And in particular, we have also artificial intelligence. But in our vision, artificial intelligence is not something which directly treats the patient, but is something that supports the clinician. So it is important to underline that the clinician is at the center of the treatment of the patient. And this is also in line with, for example, some of the indication from the recent AI Act from the European Commission. Then we have also a second software interface, which is the disease information tool. The disease information tool still rely on the information analytic tools, and is an interface that is directly delivered to the patient. So the patient can use the information of the analytic tools to do some kind of self-management. For example, we give to the patient some information related to the disease in a patient-centric fashion, so according to the status of the patient, and also we give to the patient some specific lifestyle indication according to his/her health status that is obtained by the analytic tools. So this is our concept. In TOLIFE, we have 13 partners. So as I already said before, it is quite a big project. The partners are well distributed. In particular, we have 4 research centers from Italy, Spain, Germany, and Greece. We have 4 clinical centers. Then we have research centers. We have companies, small companies and big companies, and we have also it is also important that we have some specific competencies, such as the competencies of patient association and competence, a specific partner that has skills on all the aspects that are crucial for a project which monitor patient in daily life and apply artificial intelligence, so all the aspects that are related to regulation, to ethics, and to privacy. Okay, so this is our consortium. The TOLIFE approach is something that goes behind the current treatment of COPD patients because in our approach, the treatment relies on patient assessment. So we monitor the patient, we try to estimate the patient health status and to predict exacerbation, and then the treatment is given to the patient according to this prediction made by our analytic tools that are based on the data that we measure from the patient in daily life. And our target, the main goal of TOLIFE is really straightforward. We want to reduce exacerbation events and we want to improve health-related quality of life of our patients. Okay, to do this, we have designed the structure, the architecture of our project that is depicted here in this slide. So basically, it is important to underline again that TOLIFE has two main pillars. One pillar is the technological pillar, which is we can see in the slide here. So it's associated to the sensors, the smart sensors that we use to collect the data from our patients in daily life. But associated to these sensors, we have also a cloud platform that is used to store raw sensor data that will then be processed to obtain information about the health status. Then we have all the processing part, so the analytic tools, the algorithms that we use on the data to obtain health status of the patient and exacerbation prediction. And we have the software interface. So in this, let's say, line of this slide, we have the technological pillar of our project, but we have also the clinical pillar, because what we are really doing is to try to clinically validate our approach. So we have the clinical studies that are performed with the TOLIFE technology. The first clinical study A, which is the one that we are doing now, is a clinical study that basically perform, let's say in a simplistic way, perform data collection to obtain information for analytic tools and also to test that the TOLIFE platform works in an efficient way. And then we will have a second clinical study for the validation. In addition to these two pillars, we have also other kind of very important, let's say, horizontal activities, which are related to the statistical analysis for validation and multi-domain assessment of our technology, all the aspects related to ethics, regulation, and privacy, and for sure all the aspects related to exploitation, dissemination, and communication, as we are doing now in this moment. So this is a brief overview of our project. I want to say a few words more on the clinical studies. So in the first clinical study, the one that we are doing now, we are following a group of patients for a long period of time with a follow-up of 12 months. This means that the patients will use the TOLIFE technology for 12 months. In these 12 months, we will collect raw data in daily life, but we will also register exacerbations, and we will also the patients will perform quarterly visits to obtain the clinical references for our algorithms. So basically, we do this first study mainly to build our algorithms. For example, for the exacerbation, as we will see after, we try to see which is the pattern of variation of the indexes that we measure with TOLIFE when we are closer to an exacerbation that is registered on a patient. Regarding the clinical study B, this will be really the validation. So what we will do to compare the outcome of the TOLIFE treatment. So we will follow and treat a group of patients with the TOLIFE approach, and we will compare the outcomes with standard care in terms of reduction of exacerbation and improvement of the health-related quality of life. Very briefly, where we are now, we are here. So we have developed all the technological tools related to sensor and to cloud platform. We are performing the first clinical study, and we are in parallel developing the analytic tools and the software interfaces that then will be needed to perform the second clinical study. From now on, I will just put the focus on some important aspects of our project. In particular, I start from the sensor kit. Okay, I start from the sensor kit. This is the kit of sensors that we deliver to the patients. Okay. We selected basically a set of non-invasive devices that have the potential to generate daily life data that can be associated to patient health status and to early signs of exacerbation. As we can see from the slide, we have some, let's say, general purpose commercial devices, such as the smartwatch and the smartphone, and we use the sensors that are integrated in these devices. We have a medical device which is tailored to COPD patients, which is a mini spirometer, and we have some research prototypes such as smart shoes and the smart mattress cover. So basically, what we do is to collect raw data that are associated to cardiorespiratory parameter of the patients. For example, if we consider the watch and the smart mattress cover, the mobility and the physical activity of the patients, again, as a smartwatch, a smartphone, but also the smart shoes. Some parameter which is really tailored to our category of patients, which is so all the parameters that are associated to the pulmonary function, and also parameters such as the sleep quality and the physiological parameter during sleep, which are really important for this category of patients. I want just to underline that our platform, our approach is applied to COPD patients, but with little changing on the sensor could be applied to other types of chronic conditions. Okay, so this is something that could be exploited in the future. Okay, this is a focus on one of the research prototype, the smart mattress cover. Very briefly, we use this prototype to measure quality of sleep, occurrence of sleep apnea, as I told before, heart rate and breathing rate, and also environmental quality. It is really a non-invasive device, as it can be applied over the mattress and below the sheets in the chest area, in any kind of bed. Technologically speaking, the smart mattress cover is an advanced research prototype which integrate 40 textile-based pressure sensors inside the textile. These pressure sensors are used to detect user movement, posture, and breathing activity due to the pressure exerted by the movement of the chest during respiration on the sensor, and it has also 2 3-axis accelerometer to detect cardiac activity to the ballistocardiogram technique. Here is the prototype in action. I just show you how the sensors are integrated and what happens when a subject moves on the raw data that you can see here in the screen. So basically, here is the subject that is exerting pressure on the early prototype of the smart mattress cover, and we see the modification of the pressure over detected by our sensors. I reported the example of the smart mattress cover, but we did this activity for all the other smart sensors. So before delivering the sensors to the patients, we performed a laboratory testing, trying to compare what we measure with our sensors with respect to standard measurement systems. Here in this case, it is a result for the smart matrix cover, where we compared we assessed the performance in detecting heart rate and in detecting breathing rate. We can see that we have very good performance, and also we assessed the performance in classifying the movements of the subject that is lying on the mattress, and this is an important input factor for the detection of the sleep quality index. So this is just an example what we did this kind of testing also for all the other sensors. Here in this slide, one of the most important results that we have at the moment. So TOLIFE is working in real world. This is really important for us. So we have about 80 patients that are using the TOLIFE system in their daily life, and we are collecting raw data from each sensor of the smart devices with very high sampling frequency. So we really collect raw data that we are exploring for building our algorithm. Since the follow-up for each patient will be 12 months, you understand that we have a huge amount of data to be explored. So raw data are collected and stored in a database on the cloud. So again, what we do then, we want to develop our algorithm to exacerbation prediction and health status estimation. Again, in real world, from raw data, we collect a series of health indexes. So let's say higher level information that we extract from our raw data. You see, these are all the health indexes that we are collecting on with a granularity of 1 day. So each day we have a mean value of each of these health indexes. For example, we have the heart rate measured with the smartwatch, the heart rate or the breathing rate during sleep with the smart mattress cover, all the parameters related to mobility, so the mean gait speed, the walk time, the walk distance. We have environmental quality, environmental factors that are measured from the smart mattress cover. We have a lot of other information. What we are doing now is to develop the algorithms to health status estimation from the health indexes. So we want to estimate on a daily basis some clinical indexes that are typical of COPD patients, such as CAT, CCQ, and MMRC, and we are developing the algorithms for the assessment of the risk of exacerbation. So we still have to finalize some aspect about the algorithm, but we have developed most of the algorithm that we want to use in our project. Now, okay, another example of what we are doing. One of the health indexes, which is one of the most important for the COPD patient, is the estimation of the gait speed. We have developed, tested in lab an algorithms that detect gait speed by using any combination of the wearable device of TOLIFE, so this one here. So we have developed this algorithm, tested in lab, very good performance, but we have also started the assessment in daily life with the patients. So how we do this? We take our gait speed estimation, we take the clinical reference, in this case, the 6-minute walking distance, that is a parameter that is measured at the clinical visit. we take the gait speed estimation by the TOLIFE sensor and algorithms close to the visit of the patient, and we performed a correlation. And as we can see, we have a very good correlation, and we can also understand which kind of the wearable device have been used to estimate the gait speed. I have just reported this example, but I could give you other example with other health indexes that we are estimating. Very last slides. This is for us really, really important because it's the most important part of what we are doing. Basically, we are able to observe the daily evolution of the health indexes that we have extracted from the raw data, and we can observe these health indexes in periods that are close to the exacerbations that have been registered from the patients. Here is a patient of the German site. It has the patient has 3 exacerbations, and we are able to monitor some of the health indexes during the exacerbations. Okay, this is for one patient of the German site. This is for one patient of the Spain site. So the patient, the German patient had 3 exacerbations. Here we have 1 exacerbation, and we are able to observe what happened to the health indexes. So the work that we are doing now is to find algorithms that are able to robustly assess the exacerbation risk for these patients, and then to use these algorithms when are validated for the clinical study B. This picture for us that we work in the project is really something which is the results of what we did. And I would also say that real exacerbation of patient in daily life is something that has never been observed before. So this is a very important result for us. So very quickly, future work, we have to finalize the development of the algorithm and of the software interface. We have to perform the clinical study B. Lesson learned from the clinical study A. The main challenge for us is to assess the sensor kit usability. So we have to find a way to motivate the patient to use at minimum some of the device of our kit, and we are really working on this toward this objective that will be also paramount for the clinical study B. Okay, that's all from my side. Sorry, because maybe I have been 5 minutes longer.
It's perfect timing. Thank you very much, Alessandro. I think it was a very comprehensive and interesting presentation of the TOLIFE project. I have a few questions, but I will keep them for later on.
Okay.
I think I will now leave the floor to Klaas, who will present the PERSIMMON project.
Thank you so much. Let's see if I can share just as well as Alessandro did.
Perfect.
So, do you see the presentation?
Yes.
Very well. So once again, thank you for having me here. I'm Klaas. I'm a professor of material science at Uppsala University, and also coordinating the European project PERSIMMON for personalized sustainable smart patch omnifence. So this project were started in September, so it's soon a year ongoing. We are 13 partners from 7 countries, and the contribution is a little less than 7.8 million euro for 4 years. Our main objective is to provide a low-cost additive manufacturing of smart patch networks, improve applicability for remote personal health caring, while focusing on improved sustainability and circularity. So this is based on digital surface mount technology, which Uppsala and the company Mycronic be working for very long. And it builds on the European strength in this field, but gives the capacity to printed circuit board manufacturing, and especially for advanced use in wearables and biomedical engineering. Printed circuit board manufacturing is really very low in Europe today. Most of our companies do the production in Eastern Asia, and this is an issue for security and strategic electronics, but also on sustainability. We are working on renewable and sustainable materials, bio-based active ingredients, and design for circularity. Now, this means that the hardware technology in this project is less mature than what you saw from the TOLIFE project, and hence you will not see so much results yet. But when we're working on technology advancements and healthcare innovations, we do that with a perspective of sustainability and circular economy. Looking into sustainability, first of all, you saw all these very interesting non-invasive application hardware technologies that are used in TOLIFE, and that is absolutely good to use. You should very much compare smart patches and other non-invasive technologies, like comparing lenses and glasses for eyewear. In certain aspects, smart patches provide much better signals, but they are not as easy to use. On the other hand, when you're using them, they are less obtrusive. So win and lose. Still, it's projected that there will be billions of smart disposable patches already in 2030. They are all today made by crude oil-based producing microplastics. They are burnt or in landfill, and there is no recycling, no reuse. Our approach for a circular economy is using biodegradable biopolymers, and there will be no microplastics produced even when it's not recycled. And we can do a much lower carbon and environmental footprint in recycling and reuse. If you look to the advancement on hardware technology, one key is the use of surface mount technology. Here you see two schematics. On top, an ordinary surface mount assembly for printed circuit board. This could be for rigid devices or for a soft device. And below, the manufacturing of a of the stretchable printed wire board for smart patches. So quite similar to the standard production line. Persimmon builds on a recent European project called SynTech, for Soft Intelligence Epidermal Communication Platform. It builds on the understanding of the technologies and materials. So we are using supercooled liquid gallium, which makes it easier to recycle the stretchable liquid interface in the smart patches. We are using we have shown less motion artifacts in biomedical mechanical testing. By using fat intra-body communication, we have less attenuation when communicating on the body. It's less demand on encryptation because the communication is within the body. It's much less easy to eavesdrops or to make an attempt to change or corrupt the material. Also, it's decently small front-end antennas for being in-body communication technologies. You see an example here of a smart patch where we have a multi-use module embedded in a soft silicon package and coupled with a flat cable. And also you can bring to the 2-point couple, you can couple also to a long flat band structure to get a 3-electrode test of, for example, more advanced ECG or bioimpedance. So that was the syntax. But to improve the capability for printed biopolymer electronics, we brought in other partners like TNO Holst and Martin Kaltenbrun's work from Johannes Kepler University, where the electronics will be water or biodegradable after a set lifetime. The healthcare innovation is on advanced cardiac monitoring. It's a cornerstone of health and wellness with immense impact of society. But we have challenges in motion anomalies and in monitoring core body temperature and blood pressure. We have challenges in supporting multi-module physiological, chemical, and biomechanical data from the body. And we have challenges in patch design to get robust, comfortable, conformal, safe, secure, and hidden. Or if it's not hidden, good looking. So our approach is using several nodes on the body and several sensors in each node. We say multinodal and multimodal nodes. We have shielded interconnect lines to reduce disturbance. We use edge AI for reduced motion artifacts. We have small and thin low power sensor modules, high bandwidth. We have good individual fitting for tailored patches, and we use multi-module readout with artificial intelligence to better reach blood pressure or body temperature. This can also be used for sports performance. We are inspired very much from the Xtrode company, which is used for sleep analysis and sports performance. But Persimmon goes a step further by individually tailored patches, thinner electronic modules protected by sports or medical tape, and we add biomechanical and chemical sensors to the electrophysiological sensors for better orthogonal analysis. To enable this, our 13 partners provide a wide group of competences. Yes, sustainable handling of the hardware is key, but we truly want to show applicability, and therefore we have biomedical industry with us. We have the capacity to upload material to the cloud and presenting it to an app by MySphera. We are using gateway technology from the BodyNet to the cloud by Evalon. We have all the cool multimodal electronic modules and the edge AI hardware from STMicroelectronics. We are using patch designs, long-term electrodes for the electrophysiological measurements over many days by TNO Holst. Benele is Europe's leading in providing smart patches in production, and here they are providing tape lamination and protective packaging. We have Micronic creating instruments for digital surface mount technology, working together with DF Electronica, which bloody, I did not have here in the name. Sorry for that. But DF Electronica is a producer using digital surface mount technology and will make these stretchable printed wire boards that later on will be laminated and protected, packaged by Benelli. So this is the outlaying. We started with 3 parallel technical tracks that in 8 months from now will merge into 2, and then another 18 months later on for a final year of demos. So we are later in what we can provide, but we already have novel modules for the multi-use electronic module, and we have been able to do a full automatic production of the first disposable smart patches, but then not biodegradable. These patches are still using the technology from Syntec, but are now more robust and able to be produced automatically. So within a few months from now, we will start taking up data for training our AI, and during the next coming 2 years, we are creating enough material so that we have biodegradable biomaterial-based systems that can be used in demonstration, both for clinics and for sports performance. And with that, thank you, and I hope that you please contact me when you find interest in what we're doing. If so, I would be very happy to see collaboration starting from 1 or 1.5 years from now on. Then we would be in a good shape to build also collaboration outside the team of Persimmon. Once again, thank you.
Thank you very much, Klaus, for your presentation. I think as we saw with the TOLIFE project, it was very interesting. It was comprehensive of everything, and it's I think it's good to see that both projects take into consideration circular economy and sustainability, which are basically the goals of the European Union and the European Commission. I think we can start with the questions. If you want, you can write them in the chat. As I don't see any questions so far, I have a question that I think can be addressed by both of you. Maybe Klaus, as you just finished your presentation, you can start. I think as both projects are trying to develop devices, TOLIFE many devices, and Persimmon with the smart patches. What is the challenge in turning the research that you're doing and putting the final product on the market, so the commercialization of it, which I think it's a huge challenge?
Well, if I start from the Persimmon project, frankly speaking, you need to do all the work with the CE evaluation for the biomedical products before we can start using it. And it's quite a heavy burden today with the new European regulations. Not that this is wrong to do so. I think it improved the system, but that means you have to come quite far in the research before you dare to go further with commercialization. As I see it, Persimmon will provide means for commercialization, but most probably not the total system as it looks. The Persimmon is still, as I see it, a demonstration of many different technologies, where certain technologies have a very short step forward for commercialization and can be shown the capability for investors or for the company involved in it. However, to build the whole full system, that would take quite long extra time before it would be ready for at least clinical applications. It could be closer for sports performance on healthy individuals. That's a little easier process to get through. So what should I say on biggest hurdle? I would say cost. The biggest hurdle is actually, if you want, as long as you keep the smart patches in rather small numbers, this is not a low cost system. You need to reach up in millions of smart patches before you get into low cost applications. Of course, that is not an issue for clinical applications, but then clinical application is less easy to reach early. So it's like either you have to wait long to be able to get it into the clinics, or you need to reach a very large market to get into sports performance and well-being. And it's very difficult to get that industrialization step, to get a sufficient confidence that you're willing to build up such a production technology that you can produce smart patches in these volumes before you already have a market. So it's like, what comes first, the hen or the egg? I don't know what will come. Maybe the solution is that there is just one smart or crazy entrepreneur that believes in this and is willing to take the chance. And if he or she bets well, they will do really well, but they may also lose many millions of euros. That is, for me, scary. I'm not that kind of entrepreneur. Sorry for a long answer. What do you say, Alessandro?
Yeah, for us it's I mean it's a little bit different because in our case it's really a clinical application. So what we are developing is a medical device. So I think that the most critical aspect is to fulfill all the regulatory pathways that you have to follow for a medical device. We already did something for this project because actually when we had let's say the approval of our study, for example in Italy, we did all the testing, all the documentation that are needed for a new medical device. So it is considered a software-based medical device of class 2A. So it is, and then as also class underlined before, this is something which is quite complex to be addressed in Europe, but I think that is also I mean it's good that our regulation try to obtain a rigid assessment of what we commercialize as a commercial device. So in our case, I would say that the technology is more on a higher level of TRL because we also use let's say commercial devices and we take data from commercial devices. We also had some low TRL prototype, like for example the Smart Matrix Cover, which we are now able to, let's say, produce in a almost industrial fashion. So this is something that we worked a lot in the first part of the project, but now for us the step for commercialization is really to have good results from the clinical study and then to fulfill all the regulatory pathway that we have to fulfill for the commercialization. Then in our case, the price is not the low cost solution is not something which is strictly needed because it's a clinical device, but it's a medical device. But I would say that maybe some of our results, intermediate results, could also be let's say moved to other markets, for example, also to the well-being markets or also to the sport markets. So in that case, we also should address low cost of our technology, and in some case, we for example, also for the smart mat discover, it is not a really high cost device. So I also want to comment that many of the technological, so as I told before, the project of class is really on a lower level of TRL, which is good because they are developing new technologies, new sensors, which are also eco-friendly, and that could be sensors that could also be used by solutions like the one of TOLIFE. Okay, so I really see that they are developing some new technologies that could be also really interesting and also enabling for a solution like the one of TOLIFE, maybe directed to other different kind of condition, of chronic condition, of pathology. So I see many link between these two projects in this sense.
If I may continue, I totally agree with Alessandro. We started from TRL of the core technology of 3, while the low TRL technology you are showing, I would say, is in the order of TRL 5. Still, and that is perfect when you're working on software development and AI. That gives a really good starting and initiation. And still, I mean, to reach from 5 to 7, that is not easy. I truly feel that. Of course, smart shoes, I'm always interested in how you do, if you can use smart inlays instead, and how you do the communication, because the antenna is always an issue on how to get good low latency, good communication from the shoes. But in general, in the Syntec project, we have technologies that starts already from 4 or 5 and may reach all the way at least to 6 over the project cycle. And they are supporting the development of the biodegradable biopolymer-based smart patches. And there we have the chance to go beyond. There will be commercialization, but not exactly in this particular application. So I'm positive we will have products that comes out from Persimmon, but it will be individual parts here that the industry will have use for, not that the whole system will be used immediately.
Okay, thank you. Was a very interesting response from both of you. I think it's very interesting to see the different perspectives on this. I also have another
very good answer, question.
It was a very good answer, definitely. I also have another question, a final question. This is for Alessandro. We talked a few times about the interaction with patients, as TOLIFE is a project that has two clinical sides, two clinical studies. So you've been interacting with patients. Do you have a feedback from them or other externals, maybe people who have contact with the potential patients, and how is it so far?
Yes, the person that has the contact with the patients are only the clinicians. Okay, because we don't know we cannot communicate with them, but the clinicians can communicate with them. What we do in the project, We also deliver a questionnaire to basically monitor the user acceptance of the patients. So this is something that we delivered in these days. So we evaluate user acceptance. We monitor the usage of the prototypes, and then our clinicians really try to talk with the patients to encourage them to use the devices in the correct way. But I think that this aspect, so we have a different kind of, I don't have analyzed the questionnaire. We don't have analyzed the questionnaire. I have some let's say qualitative feedback by some exchange with the clinicians. So there are some patients that will to use the system, that they are enthusiasts, but there are also patients that don't like to be monitored in this way. So this is something that was expected, because in my way, what we are doing is something that I've never seen before, because we are reading, interacting in daily life in an unstructured way. So we are not asking people to do a specific protocol. We are just telling them, so do your life, put the smartwatch on, sleep on the smart mattress cover. For us, this is something which is not demanding, but we understood that for some patient is something which is demanding. Okay, so we really have also to work to the motivation to show them that if they use a little bit, I mean, not every time the devices, we are able to estimate their health, and probably we are able to improve their health and quality of life. So it's a balance. Not all the patients are really let's say happy about being monitored in this way, but this is something that I think it's part of the process. Okay, and then also our approach is in some way tolerant to this let's say non-continuous monitoring, so we can still do something if they don't use continuously, so they don't have to use continuously, and also if they don't use some of the device that we give them. So that's why we deliver a kit which is in some way redundant. So if they don't use the smart shoe, we still have an estimation. Maybe it's less accurate than if they use the smart shoe, but we still have some information. So this is really the crucial part. So we are playing. We are dealing with daily life, which is not hospital or something like that.
Okay, thank you very much, Alessandro. Class, I don't know if you want to add something to that.
I can just say that in parallel with Persimmon, we are having a national project which is more focused on cardiovascular treatments for continuous remote patient monitoring with more mature technology, and there the focus is rather on AI and translational research, how to get good practice to the clinicians, and how to transfer medical practice from the clinics to everyday life, just like what Alessandro says. So this is very much a shift in healthcare all over Europe. And I think we will have a very interesting coming decade in the shift in healthcare to more healthcare everywhere, every time, for everyone. And thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Klaus, for joining this webinar. Thank you a lot.
All the best.
Thank you, Alessandro. I don't think we have any other question. I have left the channels of both TOLIFE and Persimmon in the chat. So if anyone is willing to visit, put a like. We also have registered the webinar, so it's going to be available on Persimmon on TOLIFE YouTube channel, and maybe also in Persimmon. I think that's all. So thank you very much. Thank you again to the speakers.
Thank you, everyone. All
have
the
a
best.
Nice day.
Bye-bye.
All the best.
Thank you, Andrea.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.